Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. So, I didn't do a video over the Christmas holidays, but a lot happened. So, in this episode of The Dan Dawson Show, we're going to play a little catch up. So, on Christmas Day, Christmas morning, there was a bombing in Nashville. Now, supposedly the suspect was killed in the bombing, according to DNA. They have no idea about the motive of why he did it. But it says a lot, I think, that he left he sent this recorded message telling people to evacuate the area and how much time they had. So, blew himself up, blew a lot of things down there in Nashville up. But 4 brave cops made sure people were clear, not knowing if the message was true or if it was a trap to lure them in to blow them up. But they cleared people out. You look at the body cam footage and it's really very brave. So, hey, kudos for those cops. They're heroes. So good for them, Back to blue all day. Now, it brings me to my second story. See, anytime you get a story about the Nashville cops doing this, and they're heroes. There's no way you can justify defund the police. Then you get this Ohio cop. This guy in his garage. The call complaint was that their neighbor kept starting their car over and over. It's like 1, 2 in the morning. Which, having worked swing shift before and getting off at 11, my thought was always if I had car troubles, because I'm not a mechanic, but I diddle here and there. My dad was a mechanic. So I tend to like to work on my own car, save a little money, learn a little bit about your car, bond with it a little bit. Well, so he could have been just fixing his car, or, his wife doesn't let him smoke in the house if he's a smoker. And so it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Ohio in the winter. So, of course, you're going to be turning your heater off and on. That's just the way it works. So the guy comes out and there's videotape with a cell phone in his hand and his hand in his pocket. The cop did not turn on his body cam, which, as a former bounty hunter, I can tell you is a no-no. A no-no. So the guy ended up shot, black guy, ended up shot. Then the cops turned on their body cams. Well, those body cams record 60 seconds before the body cam is even turned on. So it's like on a continuous 60-second loop. And it caught, some of the video on, but there's no audio, so you can't hear what was being said. My question is, how well do you have it when that's your major complaint to call the cops? Number one. Number two, the cops should have known. If you're going to an area, or if you're going to engage someone, that body cam has to be on. It protects you. It protects the citizens. I don't understand why they wouldn't have. Because without that body cam on, what defense do you have? Actually, and the cop was fired. So see, when you get like these Nashville cops who did a brave and heroic thing, and then you get a cop like this. And like I said, back to blue. All day long here on the Dan Dawson Show. Nephew's a cop, cousin's a cop. I feel for the cops. I was a bounty hunter. I've worked with a lot of cops, a lot of good cops. And then you get this. See, it only takes, especially with police, with bounty hunters, it only takes one to give the whole industry or the whole profession a bad name. So, boy, you talk about timing, huh? Also, while we were on Christmas break, people, there's been a resurgence in the use of the N-word. So there was this girl on TV, I forget her name. She made this video when she was 16, got her driver's license. Said, oh, look, I can drive now, blah, blah, blah. N-words, not hard ER, the A. And New York Times this week doxed her pretty much. Doxed her. Or one of her old friends doxed her. New York Times picked it up. Now they're pushing it. And it brings me back to something, and I'll make it after I give the second example. So there's this black guy in a grocery store and this white guy's calling him the N-word, right? It's just going all kind of crazy. Having been in the mental health field before, I've seen it. I've seen it. Mentally ill white people and black people do it all the time, you know? The N-word comes out, N-word, N-word, you know? It's that racism, you know? In one example, I tried to actually stay away from a patient I had like that, but management saw fit to keep assigning me to watch him. And when you're watching somebody, you have to be within arm's length of them. So I couldn't do it. It was very crazy. Now, here's the problem with it. Maybe not in both examples, but definitely the first example. Yeah, probably in both. So remember a few years ago when the whole rap thing came under fire for using the N-word? And black people came out in defense saying, no, we have to take the power of that word away. And, you know, we're going to use it in our music and in our language and in our culture so it doesn't have any power over us. Well, in the example of the grocery store guy, the white guy calling the black guy the N-word, right? He knocked him out and then choked him out. So apparently that word still has power. If that word didn't have any power, this girl trying to go to college got excluded from Yale or something, had to go to community college. If the word didn't have power, or if rap music was taking away the power, nobody would care. And I'll remind you, these are the same liberals a few years ago, the same black people a few years ago, the Philadelphia Eagles player, I cannot remember his name. He was at a country concert, gets up on stage, and he goes, if any N's, hard ER, right, are in this crowd, I'll whoop their ass. Michael Vick came out defending him. All these black players came out defending him, these young black people. No, it's okay because we use it in our music. It's okay. He's a good guy. If you came out and defended him, but some 18-year-old kid, you're going to toss her to the wolves and say, hey, your future's over. But him, no, he gets a pass. Why is that, black people? Either the word is okay for nobody or it's okay for everybody. That's why our culture has to change. Man, I've been at the store and I've had young black people, hey, my N, what's up? Like, don't call me that. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it. You can call me bro, anything. But you're not going to be calling me the N-word. I'm not trying to have it. Unless I'm crying on CNN. You guys see me crying on CNN. Also, so something else that came up over our Christmas break, people. Vaccine registration cards. Now, Dr. Demon Fauci says everybody should have vaccine registration cards, meaning you can't go to the grocery store, you can't catch a flight. To me, that sounds just like communism and control. They're stripping away your civil liberties. Who the hell is Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates to tell me I need a registration card for a vaccine that's already having severe side effects? If you'll look on the vaccine, they say, hey, you might want to freeze your sperm before you take it. So for all of you young men out there hoping to have families, you might want to go on down to the sperm bank and get that frozen. But who the hell are they to tell me? And Fauci on CNN got called out for his lying. Continuously lying to the American people. Remember when he had the mask thing? He said, no, masks, you don't need those. And then he was like, well, yeah, you need them. And we were just trying to make sure that the medical professionals got them first and we didn't run out. That's because Fauci, Gates, Obama, Biden, Pelosi had given off over all of our manufacturing of PPEs to China, which we're back in the hands of China now. So you see how that's going to go. Also, Joe Biden came out. Joe Biden continues to make me laugh, right? So Joe Biden comes out and he goes, talking about immigration. He goes, I'm not enacting anything on day one. I'm not stripping Trump's immigration policy. He goes, because we don't want millions of people at our borders trying to get in. I am laughing so hard right now at the Liberal Party because you fell for it again. You fell for it again. Wow. Say what you want about Trump, but what he said he was going to do, he either did or he tried his damnedest to do. Biden's just like, I'm not doing that. Remember the criminal justice reform where he told the black leaders, and I played it in an earlier video, he told them, I ain't doing that. What's wrong with you? I'm not doing that. Woo. It's just so funny. Just so funny. Liberals always fall for it. But good for Biden, I say. You go ahead and show those liberals what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. Because there's a lot of fighting in Congress right now. It looks like the squad may be breaking up with AOC and Ilhan Omar going at it about the vaccine and about this issue and that issue. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, the pimp move of the year. See, they passed an ombudsman's bill, right? Which is that last end of the year bill, and they just shove all their pork in there. Oh, we got to keep, and what they tell the American people is, if not, there'll be a government shutdown, blah, 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 and it has to get passed. So they'll pick out one important thing. Remember, they did it to Obama too, but he didn't pull the move that Trump pulled. They did it to Obama too. There's stuff in those bills that no president wants to see go through because they know they're not good for the country. They tried to do it to Trump. They did do it to him. They did it to Obama. They did it to Bush. They did it to Clinton. And you never really hear about what's in those bills, right? All anybody ever comes out and says there's a lot of pork. Well, President Donald J. Trump did a video explaining to you what was in that bill, and Americans were shocked. See, they call it the stimulus relief bill. Here, we're going to give $600 to each American. Well, it turns out they were borrowing $2,700 something from each American, giving you back $600, giving the rest of it to Pakistan for gender studies. Really? Really? There was also $100 million or so for raises for elected representatives, meaning Congress and the Senate. So Trump comes out and makes this video. Now, the reason I think he made the video is because he knew, even if he vetoed it, they still have the votes to override his veto. So he just laid it all out on a platter. Like, this is what they say they're doing for you. This is what they're actually doing. So see, it's at two different levels. He's like, so take the pork out. Just make this about the American people. America first. And Nancy Pelosi's like, oh yeah, we'll give the American people $2,000. But they pulled out none of the pork, and this thing was packed with pork. The part going to the American people was $900 billion. The actual bill itself came to $2.3 trillion. The rest of it's going out of the country for unnecessary stuff. Stuff that makes no sense. Tell you, that was a boss move right there. I say, go for it, brother. That was smart. People are like, well, when he got to his desk, he didn't veto it, and he should have vetoed it. It wouldn't have mattered if he vetoed it. It wouldn't have mattered. And he knew that. So he just said, screw it, I'll pass it. But I'm going to let people know what's in it. So, good for him. So thank you for watching this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. As always, like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do. Keep your powder dry. And I'll see you on the next episode.